Following yesterday's inshore drama, today we were back to the main event, offshore racing, as the crews gathered on the dock for the start of leg 7, the 3,500 mile transatlantic crossing from Miami to Lisbon. This will be the last long leg of the race, and with the point situation being as close as it is between the top 4 boats, it could be key in deciding the final outcome of this race. On the dock, friends and family kissed, hugged and waved the crews goodbye as the boats set off for the usual race around the buoys before heading out to sea. The starting course then similar to yesterday's in-port race, except today no points on offer. Instead racing for pride and an early chance to lead the leg. Once again the fleet lined up neck and neck on the line. Telefonica, Abu Dhabi, Puma all off to good starts as they headed downwind. To leeward Camper, but it was Abu Dhabi who were faring better in the light winds. Telefonica, desperate to make amends after yesterday's disastrous import performance, were going all out to restamp their authority on the fleet and eased ahead of Abu Dhabi. But not for long. It was Abu Dhabi who got to Mark 1 first. Then Telefonica, Groupama, Camper, Sanya and finally Puma some way behind. Meanwhile, the lead boat, Abu Dhabi, extended their lead to 200 metres over the trailing fleet as they headed upwind. They rounded the second mark comfortably with Telefonica more than a minute behind. It was almost as though the race was now happening in slow motion as the wind faded to a whisper. Groupama in third, a further minute behind. Then Camper, and in the battle for 5th place, Puma managed to squeeze past Sanya to get to the second mark first. Abu Dhabi in the lead then seemed to cross a line in the water that marked the edge of the Gulf Stream, and they were off, the current and wind accelerating them into a 700 metre lead over Telefonica. Camper were trying their luck on the starboard tack and closed on Telefonica, although out of the Gulf Stream the going was slow. At Mark 3, Abu Dhabi now with a huge lead as they excelled in the fickle wind conditions. Groupama, who followed Abu Dhabi out into the Gulf Stream, rounded the third mark in second place, relegating Telefonica to third, with Camper closing in behind. Out in the lead, Abu Dhabi had opted for an inshore route, but ran out of wind, allowing Groupama to close the gap behind. And as they went round Mark 4, Abu Dhabi now only held a slender lead. Telefonica round in third, Camper fourth, and some way behind Puma and Sanya. Then after a further mark, it was time for the guests to leave the boats. Actor Eduard Noriega leaving Camper with a fine dive off the back. And then the boats headed off out to sea. And so it was Abu Dhabi who led the fleet, a fine sail by Ian Walker and his crew, a repeat of their winning performance of yesterday's import race. Behind them, Telefonica, Groupama, Camper, Puma and finally Sanya. Next stop, Lisbon in Portugal, an estimated 11-day sail away. Stay tuned for all the action from this epic leg on VolvoOceanRace.com.